Hi, I'm James.
And I'm Laurent.
And today we're in Beaune, France.
If Dijon is Burgundy's official capital, Beaune is Burgundy's wine capital.
And if you're doing the wine route, Beaune will most likely be your home base.
But in addition to wine, Beaune is also a beautiful little town.
With tons of history and things to do for the whole family.
And in this video, we'll show you our top 5 things to do in Beaune.
So let's go! Number 1. The Hospice of Beaune, also called Hôtel Dieu.
The Hospices of Beaune are probably the most iconic building in Burgundy with its colorful tiled roof.
It's Burgundo-Flemish architecture at its best, because at the time of its construction in 1443, the Dukes of Burgundy also owned Flanders and Holland.
The Hospice of Beaune was a hospital for the poor for more than 500 years.
The main room has 30 beds, which was enough for 60 patients, because at the time there were 2 patients per bed.
If you think that's bad, it was actually considered luxury at the time because at other hospitals they had up to 6 patients per bed.
And in the standard tour is a walk through the evolution of medicine from the early Renaissance to today.
You can see all the medical devices like this saw used for amputations.
Ouch. In the Middle Ages, rich people were very worried about the afterlife and whether they'd be going to hell or to heaven.
So they donated tons of land and money to the hospital to kind of buy their way to heaven.
The Hospice of Beaune was a trendsetter and really paved the way for modern philanthropy and fundraising techniques.
As a result, the hospice is now one of the biggest landowners in Burgundy with 60 hectares of some of the best vineyards in Burgundy.
And also an amazing art collection.
Yes, rich people didn't donate the cheap stuff to buy their way to heaven.
And we were fortunate enough to visit the cellars with the wine barrels that get auctioned off every November.
Anybody can attend the auction, but you can't buy individual bottles. You have to buy an entire barrel.
And there's nothing selling for less than $20,000 a barrel.
There are several different tours offered by the hospice.
We did the behind-the-scenes tour that took us through the herb garden where medicinal plants were grown by the nuns.
But even if you just walk around the main courtyard, you can still take a peek at the herb garden through one of the gates.
In our behind-the-scenes tour, we also got the chance to see the initial charter of the hospice, which dates back from 1443 and was signed under Pope Eugene IV.
It was written in Old French and it was really hard to read, even for me.
But it was amazing to see an old document on parchment that's still intact after 600 years. Number 2. The Fallot Mustard Factory.
Just like it's famous for its wines, Burgundy is also famous for its Dijon mustard.
But Dijon mustard means that it follows the Dijon recipe, not that it's made in Dijon, and anybody anywhere in the world can make this mustard and call it Dijon mustard, as long as they follow that recipe.
And the best mustard factory to visit is not in Dijon, but in Beaune.
The Fallot company has been around for almost 200 years, and it's the last family-owned mustard maker in Burgundy.
And if you follow our channel, you know we love family businesses.
They have a beautiful store right in downtown Beaune, where you can buy all kinds of different flavored mustards.
As well as other artisan products like vinegar or pickles.
But our favorite part was the visit to the actual factory.
You go through the whole process that the tiny mustard seeds go through to end up in the mustard jars in the store.
And eventually in your hot dogs.
We also liked all the history with lots of old equipment throughout, like this old Peugeot that was used back in the days to distribute mustard.
Number 3. Exploring downtown Beaune.
Beaune is a quaint medieval town, and we love just hanging around in downtown Beaune with no particular goal in mind.
There are antique stores, clothing stores, tourist shops,
and also lots of food stores.
The starting point of your city tour should be Carnot Square,
or Place Carnot in French.
It's the main square in Beaune, and it's surrounded by tons of shops and cafes.
Then, branching out of Place Carnot are Rue d'Alsace to the east and Rue Carnot to the north.
These are the 2 busiest shopping streets, with plenty of family-owned stores.
Rue Carnot is also a pedestrian street, and both streets have beautiful timbered houses.
The food stores are always our favorite, with plenty of options to buy French cheese.
Including Époisse, a local Burgundy cheese, and probably the smelliest cheese in all of France.
It's my favorite. But you also find butchers, bakeries, and a candy shop that we really enjoyed.
Whether you plan on buying anything or not, it's just a nice city to explore.
Number 4, the Rampart Walk.
Being a medieval town, Beaune is surrounded by city walls.
Although some of the ramparts date back all the way to the Roman era, the current ramparts are mostly from the 15th and 16th centuries.
And they are still fairly intact.
And today there is a walk around the ramparts which takes anywhere between 1 hour and 2 hours depending on how in depth you want to go.
Along the walk, there are 17 stops for each of the major landmarks, with signs explaining the history of all these landmarks.
And each sign has a QR code with explanations in both French and English.
The main towers are still standing today.
And there's still a city gate called Port St. Nicholas.
You can also see the fortress that overlooked the city.
But even if you're not interested in medieval history, the Rampart Walk is just a nice way to spend a couple of hours.
You can just walk at your own pace and admire some of the architectural details.
And number 5, the wine route.
Beaune is at the center of the Burgundy wine region, and you cannot leave Beaune without visiting a wine producer.
There are lots of wine stores in town, and also a wine museum that walks you through the winemaking process, and also the history of Burgundy wines.
But the best is to go to one of the winemakers in the countryside around Beaune.
We visited a winery called Domaine Senat.
It's in the little village of Aloxe-Corton.
Aloxe-Corton is one of the most prestigious names in Burgundy wines.
The village is spelled Aloxe-Corton, but you're supposed to pronounce Aloxe-Corton.
Aloxe-Corton might be a little too far to walk.
It would take you an hour and a half to walk there from downtown Beaune.
But you can easily bike there in 20 minutes.
The owners at Domaine Senat took us through the vineyards and the 800-year-old cellars.
He spent 20 years in California and speaks perfect English,
And they were kind enough to walk us through the winemaking process.
which is normally not open to the public.
James pitched in, and it reminded us of the famous episode of I Love Lucy.
And of course, we were able to taste several of their best wines. And let me tell you, we did not spit them back.
Aloxe-Corton is home to some of the best wines in the world. What a shame that would have been.
Burgundy is a beautiful region, and there's a lot more to Burgundy than just Beaune and the wine route.
We also have other videos about the top 10 things to do in Burgundy and about the top 5 things to do in Dijon.
If you want to watch these 2 videos,
We're going to put one right here and another one right there.
and if you want to subscribe to our channel,
We're going to put a link right here.
bye!
Bye!